Welcome to the University of Liverpool, the original red brick, the original planning school, and original research. Hello and welcome to this Planning Research Institute video. Today I'm joined by Dr. Gareth Abrahams. Welcome, Gareth.
Thank you very much.
Gareth's a leading expert in the relationship between architecture and planning, and recently he's been doing quite a lot of work about sustainability in the construction industry, and in particular he's been working with a major developer in the northwest of England, Peel Holdings. So Gareth, tell us a bit about this project.
So we all know that plastic needs to be reduced. We see the films, we watch the documentaries and everything. The problem we've got is we don't know where it is. So if we look at construction industry is the second biggest producer of plastic after the retail sector. The problem is in the retail sector, we have an idea where it is. We can identify packaging, we can identify different products with plastic in. In construction industry, it's far more complicated than that. We just don't know where the plastic is. Lots and lots of materials put together in very complicated combinations. And so when you add all that together, it's almost impossible to work out where it is. So it's almost impossible to work out how to strip it out. And so this project is the first ever attempt to audit that plastic on a big scheme, as you said, in a Peel scheme, the landmark scheme, the Peel site, the Wirral Waters. Huge project, very influential, very sustainable, driven. But this is the first time we've looked at getting plastic audited in it, and how we might go about that, how we might identify it, and therefore how we might swap it out for plastic-free alternatives, which would still function but would be less plastic heavy.
All right, so we know there's plastic in it. We don't know how much, we don't know where exactly it is, and we don't know how to swap it out. What did your research and what did this project find?
So what we did was we started off with a specification and some drawings, detailed drawings, and we found that a lot of the time it was all the difficulty was one, finding the products themselves in the specification, because when you do a specification for a construction project, you don't know it's going to be audited for plastic audits. You do it for a specific purpose, which was to build a building. So the information isn't evident within it in the same way. So it's not necessarily obvious to find it. The second thing is, even if you do find it, the information that we have that's used, for example, to do embodied carbon calcs, we use a thing called EPDs, environmental product descriptions. They tell us about embodied carbon, but they don't tell us very much about embodied plastics. So it tells us what things are made of, roughly, but it doesn't kind of tell us the percentages or quantities of those things. So we can't say there is X kilograms of plastic per unit, per tonne, per metre squared of this product, like we can with carbon. So these things make it very hard, right? And these are industry issues, really. This is problems with the way that we work and the information we've got. That's the first thing we found, which is a general thing. Second thing, on this specific project, we found that there were alternatives added in by the architect and the contractor, which were plastic reduced. Now, they might not have done that intentionally to reduce plastic. They were trying to be far more sustainable in terms of carbon and efficiency and thermal conductivity and so forth. But by default, some of those options were plastic reduced. Right? So an obvious one is insulation. You change from a rigid polystyrene, for one of a better word, insulation, to a mineral wool, you automatically reduce the plastic. Now, you might have done that for thermal reasons, but you've also done it for plastic reasons. So what we found was there were some of those instances, and there were some instances where we could say, these are the plasticated products. We don't know how much is in plastic by quantity, but we know it's high because of the nature of the product. And there are alternatives available, and we could have swapped out this for this. And we found patterns in this, so we found that there were sort of three types of materials that were always high, so membranes, insulations, and internal fittings and fixtures. And most of these could get swapped out with something that's not unusual. You could probably pick it up from your local Travis Perkins or whatever. It's not an unusual product. So we could swap them out, but the question is, how do we now take that process and integrate it back into design so that becomes standard? We do that, we assess as we design, basically. That's the next question we've got.
Okay, so you've got this kind of new process to go through.
Completely new, yeah.
What are the implications for Peel, and I guess what are the implications for planning or for the construction industry more broadly arising from this new process? What are your hopes for that?
Well, the hopes are, so Peel have been a great partner. Let's say that from the beginning. They're very, very adventurous and willing to embrace these novel things, right? Because it's never been done before. So it was a big, bold step for them, really. And they're willing to keep pushing with that going forward. So the idea would be, can we integrate that assessment process across the entirety of their work? So as new projects come along in this regeneration project, can we then take that assessment and integrate it through every project? So, there's a standard process that we go through. At certain stages of work, we assess plastic, and then that becomes normal. And then therefore, can we then trace what's been swapped out as a consequence? And could we quantify that, at least to the number of products, if not to plastic? So that's the first thing, and hopefully that would demonstrate that appeal at reducing plastic. In terms of the industry standard, well, this is a big set of questions. So where I hope this is going is that one day, these sort of projects, this sort of engagement, this sort of awareness could drive change with how we do these EPDs, right? Maybe we need to have a new set of processes, maybe speak with the BRE, get them to produce new guidance to help us include this information inside the ways the EPDs are produced, and therefore have a solid, robust assessment method. That's not something that we've just come up with as researchers working with industry, but is adopted universally by all industry. And if we can do that, the next step is we can start to say that building long term weighs X or tons of plastic that made that building, whereas that one has got X tons. Which is the best? How do we go from that to that? How do we bring that one down? And then we're in a really refined process of really driving that plastic down. That's where we've got to get to.
Thanks, Gareth.
Thank you very much.
It sounds like a really exciting piece of work to help us clarify what's in our buildings and how we could build better buildings for the future as well. So thanks for doing that. If you're interested in learning more about Gareth's research, you can look at his web profile on the university web pages, or you could look at the Changing Streams research group as well, which Gareth's the director of, which is looking at plastics within the construction industry more broadly. But thanks for your time today, Gareth.
Thank you very much.
And thanks for watching.
Thank you.